Welcome to the Blend and Bond podcast, episode 3. Today we're talking about cigar lounge etiquette, cigar smoker hygiene, and your favorite places to smoke. How's it going, guys? I'm Dan Mina.
I am Z.
This is the Blend and Bond podcast, episode 3. Thanks for being with us. What's going on, Zeke?
Not much, man.
Yeah?
Not much, no. Busy.
Yeah?
Busy.
Busy
Trying
week?
to, yeah, definitely. Just trying to find time to take a deep breath and, enjoy it while we're still here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But busy is good. And I enjoy it as much as I complain. I do enjoy it.
Well, you did have some time this week to skip out from work and take a little break and head to the cigar lounge. I did see that.
I did. I had to. Like I said, you get the grinding, and you gotta loosen the gears every once in a while. But I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to hang out with the boys real quick. We'll have a smoke, we'll laugh, we'll have a coffee, call it good. So I did enjoy that time. Yeah, thanks for acknowledging.
Yeah. And that was what? That was Thursday. Thursday, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because I had just missed you. I had just got there, and they're like, Zeke just left.
Right.
Um,
Literally.
And then I teased you again, the same tease that I teased them last episode, where I went to a cigar lounge, and actually I was there again. That's why I was able to tease you again about it. And I smoked the AJ Fernandez 20th anniversary cigar, and then I got to the lounge, and they're like, oh, Zeke just left. I was like, oh, okay, let me send them this picture. I said, Zeke, you missed out. And this AJ, and I sent them a picture of the AJ 20th anniversary again, which is phenomenal. Smoked it again. Great cigar. I do have it for you, so
I appreciate that.
I gave one to our friend Artie, and he was like, "Holy smokes, this is a great cigar." I was like, "Yeah, man, absolutely." And I was at Smoke Easy to meet Neil, and Neil smoked a cigar before as well. He's loved it. I mean, it's AJ Fernandez,
Right.
which is ubiquitous with phenomenal cigars, and his 20th anniversary, it was going to be a phenomenal cigar, and it really is. And the presentation of it is beautiful. Nice dark cigar with the black label and the cedar, and just a gorgeous presentation and a phenomenal smoke. I can't wait till you try it.
Oh, I know. And that leads me to a question quick.
Oh.
Was the second time better, equal, or less than the first?
That's a good question. So actually, the first time was absolutely phenomenal.
Okay.
All right. It just blew me away.
Okay.
And I was really anticipating it too. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to smoke this. And the company was great. And my mood was great.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all factors, with your cigar experience. So I'd say the first one was better because of that, but the cigar was still great the second time.
That's awesome. Sometimes that can get, like I remember my first Liga Privada, number 9. I remember the experience that I went through with that. And then I had one after, and I was like, oh. And it didn't come back until I actually switched from the 9 to the T52.
Okay.
Right? Different, a little bit of a different blend, yada, yada, yada. Then I came back with the Feral, right? And then the Flying Pig. All these different, but that first initial 9 has never been the same for me, which is crazy to think, but it hasn't.
Well, a couple things there. I actually think, and I could be wrong, but I think the Liga Privadas, the old ones, when they first came out, that broadleaf was super unique. It was really, really nice. Tasted phenomenal. Now, the Liga Privada 9 still tastes great, but I think whatever was going on in the weather and the crops for those years, they were hitting.
We did get to experience that a few months ago when we had those 2010 Liga 9s.
Ah, yes.
Where I mean, it was an ass kicking. I couldn't believe how something that was 14, almost 15 years old still tasted like the original blend, right?
Oh,
It wasn't off tasting or and the strength.
mm.
It was unbelievable. Like I was we literally like, dude, I was like, yep, I'm feeling that too. And out of a cigar that you smoke all the time.
Yeah, which is interesting because actually the aging process tends to lessen the strength of a cigar over time. But this one, they were still, and that's what I mean. Like that broadleaf at
No,
that time was like just phenomenal. And not to say anything less about broadleaf of today,
sure.
but it's a crop and it's subject to weather and climate and things like that that switch it up.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
speaking of AJ
Dun,
Fernandez,
dun,
that brings us today's Cotton Light and our cigar of the day. And before I even get there, let me acknowledge our live studio audience that all has the
yeah.
cigar in their hand. And that cigar today is the AJ Fernandez Dias de Gloria Brazil. All right.
Brazil.
And we're doing it in the what they call the Figurado. Actually, it is a figurado. I don't know. I said why they call it that, but there it is. Tapers down on both sides.
Right.
So, figurados usually taper on both sides like that. I thought for some reason it was a straight side, but which would have made this a bellicoso. Um, but it is a figurado, and it is a Brazilian Mata Fina, actually, wrapper. Binder's Nicaraguan, filler's Nicaraguan, and you can guess that that comes right from AJ Fernandez's farms. It's a 6.5 by 54 ring gauge, so nice full size cigar. Made right at the Tabacalera AJ Fernandez in Nicaragua, and the cigar's
Mm.
obviously Nicaraguan. So we're gonna go straight to a cut and light on that. I'm
It,
sure.
real quick, the wrapper below the cedar um wrapper versus the wrapper up top, two different smells, right? Well, obviously it's wrapped in cedar on one side, not on the
Uh,
other. But
yes.
it's a very distinct,
Okay, yeah.
very distinct grandma's basement off
Ah,
that wrapper.
on the backside, just on
Mm-hmm.
the lit or the cedar
On the
side.
cedar side.
Okay, yep, I see it.
And that's very I'm very I need to cut this thing. Let's go.
I'm giving in. I'm starting to be a foot guy like Zeke over here.
Listen,
You know?
I'm not crazy. To all my foot soldiers out there in the industry, please comment, let Dan know what he's missing out on, all right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Even with this one, I can understand the Toro where it's like covering your nose.
sure.
You try to sniff this one, you putting it in your nose. So
A little bit.
let's not.
But the good thing is you're smoking it,
We have
right?
to edit that out.
And we're not going
I don't want to see that. Put
that,
that on the only cigars page.
oh wow.
You know.
Good thing it's not going back on the shelf.
All right, let's get
Let's
this
do
a little
this.
light. Bang. I want a nice little straight cut. Um, Sometimes on a tip like this, I'll go an angle, but I'm just not feeling it. I'm just going straight today. Now, this cigar, since it is a figurado, it has a very small foot area, right? So when you light this, don't light it any different, right?
Mm,
Toast that and light that, but don't think you have to burn all around it, right? It's gonna draw a little firm at first because the area that you're pulling from is small. But let that naturally open up as opposed to trying to torch that whole thing so that you could get a full draw right away. Right? That's not what this Vitola is intended for. It's light that, pull it, and then it'll open up itself up. And obviously, since it is a smaller foot, there's less to toast. Should be a quicker light.
mm, mm. Excuse excuse me for a moment here.
Yep. Got some first draw little feels there. A lot of flavor right there.
I'm having a moment.
Mm. Now, it should be a pretty intense flavor right away. Because of that small foot, there's a very small filler ratio to wrapper ratio, so you're getting a lot of that wrapper right off the bat. And that Brazilian Matafina is
Ooh,
really coming through. Um, it's
wow.
definitely a little barnyardy.
Yeah. But very, so as you say that, I got a very good, and I'm sure it's the wrapper, clean
Mm,
milk chocolate and coffee, like as if I took a coffee that had chocolate, whipped into it or something. I mean, very
yeah.
clean and distinct, along with that backyard slash, cedar opening. Um, didn't get much for pepper, but there was a lot happening just now.
Well, if you retrohale this one right away, you do get like a significant red pepper burn, where it's not the white, where that's the stingy white. It's not that sneezy black pepper. Well, it's like a warm red pepper burn, in my opinion. It is very chocolatey off the rip.
Yes, it is.
It's incredible. That's a this is phenomenal. Now this cigar, if I'm not mistaken, this was pretty highly rated. Um, could have been Stogie Press or what's the other one that we
Half wheel?
Half Wheel? No, it wasn't Half Wheel. Somewhere, it got rated pretty high, and
Somebody gave it some numbers, which they should have.
mhm, I mean AJ don't miss.
No, AJ does not, man. It's funny you say that because that's one of the lines that if anyone follows my social media, Cigars Daily page or anything like that, I always put AJ, don't miss, Saka, can't miss, right? And some of these and Perdomo won't, they just won't miss,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay.
And it's true. Like some of these guys, um, uh, like Roma Craft, they just can't miss. They're bullseye every time they throw the dart. And if it's not bullseye, right outside of
Well, you know what's wild in the way you say that. I I like the analogy of the bullseye, and we're staring at a dartboard there.
it.
But here's what it is: you don't see the throws
Right.
that these guys are making behind the scenes, hitting garbage, going through all the shitty
Right.
throws,
Right.
and then when they give it to you and it's on the market, that's the bullseye throw.
Right.
That's when he hits it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he shows they go through a lot of bad shots to make some phenomenal blends.
Oh,
So
and as you would guess, right? And because it does seem like these guys just wake up and go, you know what? Let me get some jalapa. Let me get some of this. Let me get
another
some.
studio audience member. Sorry to cut you off. Let's go. There you go. He gets a cigar.
All
Mhm,
right.
mhm.
Um, let me take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what? Let's double bind this. Let's double filler that. And we're gonna wrap it in this. And then it's hard to imagine that they light that and they're like, "Bleh," you know?
Well, I honestly can say I have no idea. I mean, I have a little bit from videos,
Sure.
but I want to immerse myself.
Yeah.
I want to go to Nicaragua and I want to hang for 2 weeks with Skip Martin and watch him do his thing. And I want to learn that process because that's how my brain works. And you got I talked to Abe Flores once, right?
Okay.
Abe Flores, if you don't know, he is the blender and owner behind PDR Cigars, Bernal del Rio, right? And he makes his cigars, tries to mimic classic Cuban cigars, right? So he'll take a classic Cuban cigar, Partagas number 4 or something like that.
Sure.
And then he's trying to blend tobaccos from not Cuba to make it taste like that. Now,
Mm,
Abe Flores is a phenomenal blender. He's actually the original blender for the Gurkha Ghost, which I believe is one of the highest Gurkha rated cigars for Gurkha that they've ever had. Um, now, I talked to him a little bit about making cigars, right? I said I was like, I'd like to make a cigar, like I really like to go through a process. And I was like, eventually, I was like, how do you get started? How do you know what to do and this and that? And he's like, well, you and I don't know if everyone does this, but it seemed very unique, but maybe it's more commonplace. He was like, bring me a few cigars that you like, that you kind of want these flavor profiles to be. And he's like, I'll gut that. I'll put that tobacco in my mouth.
Oh man.
All right.
Wow.
And from there, from tasting that tobacco, I'll figure out my blend. I was like, what? What? That's a thing I was not aware of.
No.
That was even a thing.
And I was just gonna say that just brings you to a whole nother aspect of this blending process,
Yeah.
right? Because I would think we know where it grows, we know what seed it is, we know what the month, week it is, we know what we're picking, what we're fermenting, yada yada. Yada. We know what to expect, but I would have never thought a tasting process to
Mhm,
go along with that because for me, it's more, as my mind would see it, scientific,
mhm.
right? You plant an orange tree, you grow oranges.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I
Mhm,
mean?
mhm.
But for someone who has a orchard of them, they know that the top of the hill versus the bottom of the hill is going to produce a more sweeter, but the top of the hill might produce a bigger,
Yeah. Okay.
right, yield type deal. And
Yeah.
and that's interesting. I'm gonna
Well,
taste it to figure it
I
out.
mean, I get what you're saying there, but I know, when it comes to tobacco, you know, with oranges, you're gonna have one orange. If you're gonna make maybe a blend of orange juices and kind of figure that out, maybe grab a different oranges from it, you know,
Yeah,
trying to match your analogy there.
yeah.
But the tobacco is because you're using so many different varieties of tobacco to make these blends. It's like the possibilities are endless. And they're actually kind of endless even with the same tobacco. For instance, we got 7 people here. If I gave you, and you all the same tobacco and said, make a cigar, chances are that you're going to get 7 different cigars, even though
Right,
you gave them the same tobacco.
right.
Because it's going to be based on how did you ferment that? How did you cure that? How long did you age that? What's your ratios? This and that.
Mm,
So, it, even just with the same exact tobaccos, you can make so many different flavors
sure.
and profiles from that, which is pretty wild. So, Zeke, let's get into our first topic today.
Let's do it.
All right. And we're talking cigar lounge etiquette.
Oh boy.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I'm talking your brick and mortar cigar lounge. Not per se your cigar shop where it's just, a retail grab and run type deal, but an actual cigar lounge.
Mm.
All right. And a few things. First of all, support your brick and mortars, right?
Yes.
Online is great. I run an online company and I
Right,
appreciate all the support.
right.
But support your brick and mortars because small business like that is what keeps local economies booming, right? And we want to keep doing that. So speaking of that, of supporting them, when you go to a cigar lounge, this should be understood, but for some reason in cigars, it's people kind of feel type of way about it. Some,
Mm.
and that's buy your cigars at the place that you're going, right?
Correct. Yeah.
This isn't a question for anywhere else,
Right.
right? You don't go to the bar and say, "Nah, I'm good. I got my own fifth in my pocket."
Right. We were
you know,
parking lot pimping before we got here,
yeah, yeah. You
but
don't go, you don't go to a restaurant and say, "I brought my own appetizers." Like, when you go to a cigar lounge, buy the cigars at the lounge.
correct.
The ones you bought online to save some money.
Right.
Well, smoke those at home, smoke those on the golf course, smoke those wherever you want. But at the cigar lounge, it's a overhead cost, right? You go in there, it's probably warm, probably comfortable seating, probably got some TVs or some music in the background.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have some smoke ventilation and good ones, right? And all of that is costing money to run, right?
Correct.
And how do they make their money? by selling
Cigars. Yeah.
cigars, right?
Yeah.
So it's a literal slap in the face
Right.
when you're like, "Hey, can I smoke here? You know, I brought my own cigars."
Right.
Well, what are you talking about?
Right.
You know, like,
Right.
no, it's not. That's not the thing. Now, is there exceptions to that? Sometimes when it's a membership place and they allow you to do that.
Right.
But even that, right? I would say if, for instance, we have a rule like you bring cigars in if we don't carry them, right?
Right.
As our members, members are already paid a premium to smoke there. They already are supporting the brick and mortar. Now, on that note, if there's a cigar that you like all the time that the cigar lounge doesn't carry, talk to them, right? If they know you smoke this all the time, let them know. Hey, can you bring these in? I smoke these all the time. Maybe they only need to bring in a box for you,
Right.
and you buy that box, and you have your member discount or whatever,
Right.
however the lounge does it, and you keep that in your locker. But at
Sure.
least you supported that brick and mortar,
Correct.
as opposed to always bringing in outside cigars,
Correct.
right?
But then you have your people like me, right? Where I always support the local business, but I keep my portable or my humidor with me, and I always buy two smokes.
Mm-hmm.
Witnesses who have seen, I will buy two smokes, put them in my box, and pull what I brought in my box out. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a balance there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because number one, on that day, I'm choosing to smoke something that might be 5 years old. It might be, all right, I know you guys can't get it. I even had a hard time getting it online, but I do want to enjoy this today. I do always purchase two cigars, and if I'm having a drink, whether it's a coffee or a whiskey or whatever the case might be, but I always patronize the business first so that they can visually see that, not like I'm gonna get back and do it later, because most people won't do that. They'll get to doing what they're gonna do when they dip out the door. I do all of my business first so that you and I have a mutual respect, understanding that yes, I am purchasing, but I'm also gonna be smoking what I brought. Which like I said, there's a balance there. Some people don't do that, and
Yep.
it's really hard to even fathom that people think in that nature.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a tough thing to. I mean, it's not that tough. You just let them know.
Right.
Now, there's other exceptions as well. A lounge may allow you to bring your cigar, but you have a cutting fee,
Yeah.
right? Where you
Yeah.
pay a certain fee to smoke your cigar there. To me, I'd still buy the cigar, right? Because at least you're getting something,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You know, on top of already paying the money.
Correct.
So yeah.
We
So
might have to take a little break
I
here.
was just gonna say,
Dude. Dude, what's
this
happening right now?
this is great. So I was actually a little confused on the notes that I was having.
Mhm.
I might be having an off tasting day. Yesterday was a
Heavy day.
heavy day,
Okay.
heavy day, and a late night,
Okay.
and I think my palate's not the crispest it could be today.
Sure.
So I was having a little tough time. I am picking up some like rich dark chocolate
Mhm.
in this. So because I was a little confused, I went on to AJ's site. I think. Yes. No. Oh no, this is a review. But Cigar Public, right? And just to see some notes of what if I can get like maybe something to head start me on what I'm
Sure.
tasting and trying to. But here's the description of the body from Cigar Public, and there's a few of them. I don't even know who wrote this, but let's just read it. For their body, they say pungent, barnyard, light funk, and horse blanket. Who gave that guy the green light to write that stuff?
What the hell is a horse blanket? What flavor is horse blanket? Now, grandma's basement, which they've alluded to there, they just didn't say it, but that pungent, right? That's grandma's basement. What is a horse blanket smell like?
I
Or
got
taste like?
I got a feeling some farmer wrote this.
And
he-
and and why are
you
we
gotta be a
tasting?
farm guy to
You
know
would.
what horse blanket sounds
Wait,
like?
why are we tasting horse blankets? I got a guy here arguing with me.
Yeah.
But
We got some real quick. I'm gonna pause that. Do we got some questions from the crowd?
yeah, anybody.
Let's see. I see some. People raising, give them
No,
a chance. No,
no, nothing. Don't
all
be
right,
shy.
for now. They all got shy. They were mouthing stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, hands waving in the background.
All
It's all good though.
right.
But I don't know about the horse blanket. I don't know what that flavor is, but I will say distinctly, um, the the barnyard to me is more of a hay. It's coming off as more of a hay, you
Hmm.
know, front, if you will. The chocolate is spot on. And what I'm digging about the chocolate is that it's here, and then it's gone, and then it's right back again in the exact same strength level, which is very hard to do. As far as I'm concerned, that's hard to do because you either get it or you don't, and then it may come back later on. But at this point, it's coming in and going out as if it's being trained to go in and come out like a bird. Um, a little bit of baker spice,
Okay.
right?
Tad. I
Yeah.
still got red pepper on the retro.
Yep.
That's mainly the spice that I'm tasting right now.
Sure.
Definitely medium to full bodied.
Yes.
Um,
That was gonna be my next one.
you know.
Um, but it's robust. It's not a very, mellow. It's AJ Fernandez still. And you're gonna know he's in here, right?
So where it's medium to full bodied in the strength
Mhm.
department, it is full body of flavor.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
stuff coming through the whole time, and then even after you blow out the smoke, you can
Mhm.
really taste that in your mouth still. You know, so it's very very flavorful cigar so far. Now back to our cigar lounge
Yes.
etiquette.
Sorry guys.
No worries. That was we happened at the same time, and we're kind of even again. Let's go. Um, when you go to a cigar lounge,
Yeah.
there is you're going there probably to relax,
Absolutely.
maybe to get a break from something, maybe to celebrate something, but so is everyone else, right?
Right.
And the best part of the cigar lounges is that camaraderie, that bonding with people. So be cognizant of that. Be open to that. Don't don't feel unless you want to, unless you're there to be like, I just need to sit by myself and be pensive in my own thoughts, because there's that too. But be open to talking to everybody
Yep.
because some of the best conversations I've ever had is with strangers that I've met at a cigar lounge.
And to piggyback that, I was always raised if someone approaches you with a conversation, entertain them because you don't know where they are. And
Hmm.
again, like you said, going back to what you said, some people are there to release some steam or just get something off of their chest or their mind. Um, and you just never know, right? And so whenever people come up to me, as long as you're not talking anything crazy, I'll entertain your conversation. Because I think that's important. I think it is a part of the etiquette rule. Because there are those loner guys that'll see a group of guys and they kind of want to get in, and
Yeah.
you let them in. Come on, let's talk.
Yeah, I've told this story a few times, not on this podcast, but on other areas. My favorite day that I've ever had at my cigar lounge was early on when we opened. We had a two-part opening. We opened our general lounge first, and then our members lounge a year later. When it was just the members lounge up or general lounge up front, I remember this distinct day where there was three separate groups, one of like five, another of like two, and another of like three. They all came in separately, right? And then within a half an hour, 45 minutes of them being there, it all migrated into one group, talking and
Mm.
laughing and all together. And it was like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is exactly what you do this for. It is for that connection. It is for the people to be able to just meet other people. And there's very few places. Bars used to be like that in maybe in the Cheers days,
Yeah.
But now bars are grumpy people sitting
Uh,
on their phones,
yeah.
not interacting with anybody, right? So,
This is
y-
America now.
you know, you used to go to meet people at
I
bars
know.
back in the day,
I
right?
know.
Now it's not so much. Speaking of phones, here's another one: cigar lounge etiquette. If you're gonna be on your phone, keep your volume to your earbuds
Correct.
or at a very low minimum,
Correct.
right? Because of what everything we said before, people are there for different reasons. If you're there to watch your phone and listen to it loud, uh, other people might not want that, right? You know, and that is a interrupts and it does break up the the relaxing atmosphere
Sure.
when you're running reels throughout the
Sure.
day.
And to that point as well, that is your moment, that is your cigar, that is your whatever, but that is not your home,
Mm,
right? And so when you're in a shared space, you have to do just that, share the space. I do think that's one of the that I'm glad you brought that point up because that irritates me beyond belief.
mhm,
If I'm having a conversation with you, but I can hear this guy's phone, whether he's yelling at his wife or whatever the case might be, take that somewhere else.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Remove yourself. You're gonna
Yes,
have a loud conversation, this and that, whatever. Some people go to the cigar lounge to simply do work.
that's true.
You know, I got a friend, Mike. Shout out, Mike. Uh, he's comes in. He asks for a recommendation on a cigar. I give him a good recommendation. He orders a Pellegrino and a double espresso.
Ah, the young guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he sits down on his laptop and he is focused on his work the whole time.
Yep.
He'll be sometimes 1 hour, sometimes 3-4 hours,
Mhm.
just doing his thing. Um, and that's really cool too. So having an interruption of somebody on their phone, somebody really loud on their phone, somebody yelling "Domino." Inside joke. Sorry, guys. Inside joke.
Wee,
Mhm,
wee, wee,
mhm.
wee. You might hear that noise. That's the doc oiling up those elbows to get him moving. But yeah, no, absolutely. And shout out to Mike as well. I do appreciate that kid's his movement.
Yeah,
He's a very different individual.
he's
Um,
like you could tell he's like a Renaissance man.
he is definitely a Renaissance man.
Mhm, mhm.
Saw him the other day, beautiful suit on. Yeah, he was holding a business meeting uh with his headphones in and we're all in there, but he was locked in.
Yep.
He wasn't interrupted by any sense. He didn't interrupt us. I mean he's locked in.
Yeah. So what's really cool that day, I saw him that day as well. He was wearing a super dapper suit, and then he had a chain going into his pocket, what you would expect a pocket watch to come out of, right?
Yeah.
And he pulled that thing out. He showed me, and it was cigar scissors. I was like, "Oh
Oh
shit!"
man. Oh man.
It was fire. I was like, "Well," they were like gold.
See, again, and that's his individualism, him bringing in his personality to his space
Mhm.
for his time with his cigar.
Now, here's another aspect of him being there. So he is there for a purpose to do work. But this guy is a cigar aficionado. When I give him a recommendation or when he picks a cigar and I'm watching him light it and take his first few puffs, he's in the moment of really analyzing that flavor of that cigar. And I can see that throughout. It's pretty phenomenal. Yep. Is that oh no. I
I
guess
thought we
that was
had a
a
question.
involuntary stretch.
Yeah, I thought we had a question. I was gonna say, all right.
He's like
Oh,
catatonic with his arm.
we do have a question. I'm sorry. Hang on. We have a question. Please introduce yourself and ask your question.
It's B, and my only question is, are y'all enjoying my ashtray?
Oh
Oh,
wow. You know
all
what?
right, all right.
That's a good question.
Well, for me, me, I'm very particular, so it's very on brand for us as far as the green and gold.
Yes.
Actually, it's a perfect ashtray as far as letting your cigar rest.
Yes.
The last one that we had, the clear one, that thing was like a
Teeter
balancing
totter.
act.
Yeah.
So this is just a nice 2-inch area to leave your cigar,
Right.
which doesn't run into the other cigars in there.
Correct.
And you could pull that back. So yes, absolutely.
Yes. I rate this ashtray. I'm gonna go with a 7.63 out of 10. The only reason why it doesn't get a 10 is because it's not mine. So otherwise, thanks for the ashtray.
Thank you. So let's move on to our second
Yeah.
topic today. And that topic is interesting one. Cigar smoker hygiene.
Mm.
All right? What does that mean? Take a shower? Yeah, obviously. Everyone that's just hygiene, right? But there's particular things, right? You know, we love cigars. They're great. They're what we base this whole company off of, right? But it comes with, you know, some I wouldn't call them negative, but just comes with some things, right? Smoke is very pungent. Um, gets in your clothes, gets on your skin. We're pulling it into the mouth, so you definitely have. Remember, what's burning is the oils of the tobacco. And if you've ever been into a cigar lounge or anywhere that smokes, you can see smoke where smoke rests on the walls,
Yeah.
right? Not my lounge, we clean that. But some lounges, you know, that's happening to you as well.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to take care of that type of stuff. Right? Now, a big one right off the bat is you should probably, if you smoke multiple cigars a day, or if you're a daily smoker, you should probably brushing your teeth more than usual, more than just your 2 times a day, we'll say. Right? Now, um, for a few reasons, regular hygiene,
Yep.
and you don't want that nasty taste, nasty breath of past cigar,
Hmm.
right? And and just productivity of yellowing or just whatever the oils are doing,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
Now, I did get a tip this week from Skip Martin of Romacraft. Shout out to you. Skip's like he was listening to our podcast actually, which was pretty cool. And Skip goes, "Hey, get some SLS free toothpaste." I was like, "SLS free," and he sent me the link and everything.
Mm.
And SLS, which is like sodium laurate something,
Sure.
right? We can look that up. Um, is what creates bubbles in pretty much everything. So it's what makes your toothpaste bubble. It's what makes your dish soap bubble. It's a great bubbling agent, right? To help. But as far as your taste buds go, it affects them in a negative way, right?
Yes.
You just might not be tasting everything. And have we ever had the experience of brushing your teeth and then having like an orange juice and you're like, whoa, what is that? That's from the SLS. You know, that changes your palate, coats it. We got a question back here. Can you pass him the microphone?
Gone with to my grave with the security and knowledge that that was the mint.
Ah,
Thanks for that.
yeah, right?
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Yep, which can have a factor as well, right?
Yeah.
Because a mint plus something, but the coating of that mouth is the SLS. So we learned something new today. I'm glad you got that tip. Check it out. We'll throw an Amazon link on there for SLS toothpaste, SLS free toothpaste.
Yeah.
Definitely a little bit more expensive, but you know, if you appreciate cigars and your palate and you want to take care of that, definitely go with an SLS free toothpaste.
I personally do oil pulling.
Mm.
Um, I find that it does very well, especially so I floss a lot. Um, and with the the resins and the oils and stuff like that you are absorbing while you're smoking, I feel like the oil pulling does a very good job of a keeping your teeth clean because you can see.
Mm.
Like I've gone home at night.
And when you say oil pulling, what are you using?
It's a unrefined raw coconut oil
Okay.
with some essential oils like mint and things like that mixed in with it. But you can just use raw, you know,
Motor oil?
organic. Yeah.
Motor oil?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they make organic motor oil, but yeah, coconut oil specifically because of uh, the balance, the pH
Gotcha.
balance.
Yeah. So coconut oil is antiviral, antibacterial,
Correct.
you know, so by nature. We got a question out here. More of a comment. Let's go.
Well, for me, I
kind of like to use peroxide. I rinse out my mouth
Okay.
twice a day with peroxide.
Okay,
Okay.
that's an
That
interesting.
seems to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So peroxide is a debriding agent. So when you use peroxide in your mouth, it actually breaks down some of like the surface area stuff. If you've ever had like a like sore or something like
Sure.
that, it'll clear that out pretty good. Peroxide is pretty cool. That's a good one. Didn't even think about that as far as this.
Oh,
So that's pretty cool. We got some cool stuff today. Now here's another one. All right, we don't inhale cigars, right?
no.
But are we getting some cigars in tobacco in our lungs? Absolutely, especially if you're in a cigar lounge environment, right? Especially if they don't have good ventilation. If they don't have good ventilation and it's always smoky in there, you should probably find another place or let them know. Sometimes people get stuck in their ways and there's like no one's ever complained, but this is your health as well.
Correct.
All right. So we want to be taking care of that.
Yep.
So you do get a little bit into your lungs.
Yes.
And you definitely get into your upper respiratory
Yeah.
or the back of your throat, especially if you're a retrohaler like me. And remember, like I said, this is oils. So this is viscous. It sticks around on
Sure.
walls and picture frames, this and that.
Yep.
Now, I know there's people out there right now in the cigar industry like, oh my God, why is he talking about all that stuff? Well, because it's real. It's
Right.
reality, right?
Part of
I'm
it.
not trying to push anyone away from cigar smoking. I love it. But there's things that you should know and consider when smoking cigars. Now, here's something that I had a former employee that's a very health conscious person showed me. And actually, I realized that it was the same thing that the asshole had pointed out to me prior, but I didn't make the connection until later. And that's mullein leaf tea. Mullein leaf tea. You use that, you will instantly see a difference. You might be scared at first because it's going to pull out some
Correct.
stuff. And this is whether you're a smoker or not,
Right.
right? You use mullein leaf tea, it is a great detoxifier of the lungs, all right? So just to give you a little, let's see.
And while he's looking that up, it's also a very good expectorant, which what causes
Yes.
that cough.
Mhm.
I particularly use what's called lung clear. It's all of that extract into a pill, and I just take it, and then 4 hours later, out of just that random, and it's coming out.
Yeah, so I'm going to read a little something on mullein. Mullein has gained its reputation for being very effective in helping clean the mucus in the lungs. Mullein has a soothing effect on the bronchial tubes, at the same time giving strength to the mucous membranes. What really makes mullein the perfect herb to detox lungs is saponins, which work in bringing relaxation and elimination of mucus from the lungs, thus giving freeways and easy respiration. Furthermore, mullein is an anti-inflammatory. Therefore, it's in a position to reduce swellings of the painful sensations of the respiratory tract when in distress. So that's just in general, not just cigar smokers.
Sure.
But if you're a cigar smoker, look into mullein tea. I believe Sergio the Ashhole, you have a interesting recipe that you use, huh? Let's hear what's that recipe so some of our listeners can.
So, been smoking for over 20 years. So, I boil ginger, turmeric. Cutting the pineapple, I'll always take the skins and freeze them. So I add
Pineapple rinds.
pineapple skins
Okay.
into
Bromelain.
water, piece of garlic,
Okay.
and I will use the mullein tea also.
Mm.
Um, and I boil it to no end, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of honey, and usually drink that at night and drink some in the morning.
Mhm.
You definitely see a lot of mucus coming out. I would add one other thing that's good also, sea moss. Sea moss is a big game changer. It has like 99 vitamins that your body needs, but it definitely helps take out the mucus out your body.
Very cool. So he said turmeric, ginger, pineapple rinds, mullein tea. He throws in some honey and some what?
piece of garlic,
Piece of garlic.
The garlic.
Very
Yes,
nice.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
a little bit of brown sugar.
All right.
Okay.
Maybe we could get that recipe and throw it up online and
Absolutely.
try it one day.
I'm all about that. I'm definitely all about that life. Well, because they make pills for you to take. You could easily take something with a bunch of names on it that you can't pronounce, 12 and 13 letter names, and it's like it's not necessary. But some of the key points in that mixture, the pineapple skin, bromelain, was one of the biggest factors during the last code cold thing we had in the world. Bromelain is a very powerful herb or substance that comes out of that pineapple skin. Um, it actually has been known to like save lives. It's a very, and I do, if I'm not mistaken, I believe bromelain helps out with fighting cancer cells.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a multi,
Which is always good.
absolutely much
Cancer's
needed.
always trying to get us.
One way or the other is coming after you, right?
So, Zeke, we're getting into the second, third, I'm guessing?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What do you got?
Well, the chocolate is still very prominent. It's a very nice. It's actually on the longer fill, so it's on the back of the tongue for me. But the backyard or the barnyard flavor is still very
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty earthy.
It
Earthy
is,
cigar.
and it blends well. Um, the retro is a lot softer now.
Yeah, so the red pepper to me has transformed to more like of a cinnamon burn than
Yeah.
so it's definitely eased up, but it's like a cinnamon spice burn in there.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Definitely getting nice hints of cedar along the way. Definitely just had some grandma's basement flavor there, which I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, that's that damp earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's definitely there. Yep.
What about you?
Little sweetness.
Yeah.
Yeah, little sweetness has come through now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really where I'm at. Earthy, red pepper on the retros giving way to like a cinnamon spice. It's got a little natural sweetness in there, and the cedar's still sticking around as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Heck yeah. So, what anything else with cigar hygiene? I mean,
Yes. Glad you asked, because I was looking this one up. Your cologne or parfum, whatever you choose to wear.
okay.
They say to stay away from the very like spicy floral, flavors when going into a lounge because it can interrupt with your smoking experience, and to kind of be more on a sugar slash tobacco bourbon type smell.
This is a new pairing for me. I pair my coffee with my cigars. I pair
Listen.
my bourbon with my cigars. I've never paired my perfume with my cigars. This is groundbreaking
Well,
right here.
first of all, you shouldn't be wearing perfume, but we'll start there.
Whatever. You said parfum.
Parfum and perfume are two different things. But
I thought I was the bougie one.
but there's a Tom Ford that I wear.
He's definitely the bougie one then.
It's tobacco vanilla. It's a great experience. Like when I'm wearing it, also like when I'm smoking, and it blends with it. When I leave the lounge or wherever I'm at and I'm smoking, you can still smell it wherever you go, and you don't just smell like a big old nasty cigar, right? And then his Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford also is a very good smoking blend. But I saw a group on Facebook where they're actually blending parfums or oils just for cigar smokers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
That's pretty interesting. So I those flavors that you all mentioned, I love them, or those scents. I use those in my like candles at home.
Sure.
Which sandalwood, leather, vanilla, tobacco. I love those in the candle form. Now, at the same time, I'm listening to stuff that shows that scented candles in your house is really, really bad for you.
That's what they say.
And just every time every time you open something, it's like, this is bad for you. I can't have anything nice. Anything nice. Just take it away. Everything causes cancer, everything like that.
Unless you
We
make
got a
it yourself.
question back here.
They melt your Legos.
What does?
Essential oil.
What? Well, so where did that come from? Just random fun fact?
It's a new thing that I've been seeing lately.
Really?
Lego forum.
Yeah.
Is Lego pieces being deteriorated by essential oils.
Okay.
If you're displaying next to a candle or what have you.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
interesting.
So
Yeah.
I guess if you're making your own though, right? I think it's a little bit healthier, but to his point, with some of the things that they put in these candles, if you actually read the ingredients list,
It's not just the oils
it's
and stuff like
not.
that.
It's
Now, at the
not.
same time, burning anything, just like cigars or
Correct.
anything
It's a
like that,
carcinogen.
it's a carcinogen
Yeah.
of now it makes sense in a candle at home. That thing's burning for hours on end,
Correct.
filling your house with the scent.
Right.
If the scent is all around, there's particles all around. There's
is.
oil burning throughout.
Correct.
Now, essential oils, I never heard the Lego thing, but I know they're strong.
They are.
I used to be really big into essential oils. I still am to an extent. But people don't understand when you get these little bottles and they're like, man, that's a lot of money, right? Take lavender, for instance, lavender oil, right? It takes almost 600 pounds of lavender flowers to make like an ounce
and a half
of lavender
Crazy.
oil. You know what I mean? So you're talking expressed flowers just to get this little super duper concentrated oil.
Right.
It's phenomenal.
Right.
While we're on oils, oregano oil, great for you in general, great for your health, great for, everyday health. I would recommend oregano oil.
Absolutely.
So we got one more topic.
Okay.
And this one's a little less sciencey than this last one. This is just your favorite places to smoke. What are your favorite places to smoke? It's March 10th. I don't even know. Right around there. Don't say March 9th.
It's the 8th.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow's March 9th. All right.
Yeah, don't push it.
So March 8th. And the weather's starting to break a little bit here in Connecticut. It's getting a little warmer. Getting some 50-degree days up here. And, through the winter, the cigar lounges are nice and booming, nice and full and warm. But outside time comes. I got friends that are like, it's gonna be 50 tomorrow. It's golf season started.
Let's go.
What the hell? So
still ice on the green, guys. Calm down.
So what are some of your places, your favorite places to smoke? You got lounges outside, golf courses, your car, this and that. What's your
My
spot?
favorite spot, which you and I have enjoyed, is my front porch on a warm summer night. Dan and I have been out till 3 o'clock in the morning, literally playing with the bugs, having great conversation, knocking off a bottle of bourbon or whatever.
Small bottle.
Speak for yourself.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, right. But no, we my front porch, it's a place of peace. It's the entrance to my home, right? And a lot has been exchanged on that front porch, and so that is my favorite place to be.
It's a good spot. He has one of these old school big front porches. Need some rocking chairs, honestly. You're really gonna
You'd sleep.
If you're gonna sit on a front porch, you need a rocking chair.
Yeah.
And you gotta yell at the neighborhood kids.
Right.
Yeah. Stay off my lawn. But I can see how that, is being a good spot for you. Yeah, for sure. I thought you were gonna say the shanty. I was like, no, he is.
The shit? No,
No, he
it's
is
great.
not.
It's great.
That's out of necessity.
Right. Right. But a nice balmy summer evening, light wind, decent heat, 75 or so. It's just a beautiful thing. You're engrossed in the smoke. It's not a big wind, so it's not blowing away. So you're engrossed in your smoke,
Mhm.
and you're still getting all the flavors as if you were indoors. except you're outdoors and the fox are running around, and you might get an occasional bear walk through, which has happened to me before.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but it definitely is a place of peace for me, harmony, and I definitely enjoy any cigar.
Yeah.
It could be low end, high end, but any cigar in that on that porch just seems to be better than any other time.
Yeah. So, um, I like smoking outside, but I don't like it as much as smoking inside. My favorite place is a cigar lounge, and particularly with one person that I'm having a good conversation with. Now, I I love having group conversations and that, but locking in with someone and smoking a cigar, and then ideally, um, smoking the same cigar so that we could do exactly what we're doing here,
Right.
right? Having one conversation every once in a while, talking about, man, did you catch that note, or just what do you think so far,
Sure.
this and that,
Sure.
and just engaging like that. Now, I know a lot of people that their favorite place to smoke is their car,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've heard that before from multiple people, and actually, we have someone here. Let's see, Sergio the Ashhole has a long commute. Sergio, how long is your commute?
Miles.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can we do that one more time? I had you muted.
Yeah, round trip is about 150 miles, so it's 72 miles going up, about 80 coming up.
So about how long is that time wise?
Hour and 15 in the morning.
Okay. So you have a certain size of cigar that you smoke?
Yeah, I like my Robusto around when I hit the Sheldon area.
Okay. So you
Get
get
my coffee around 5 in the morning, and then I'm in the Bronx by like 6:15. So as soon as I hit the job, cigar's almost gone, and but smoking in the car is great because you can just do 90 miles an hour, whatever you want to listen to, and it's just like
That is not suggested
you're in the
speed.
zone.
yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So so um he cool takes from there, right? So you turn your mundane driving trip into a disciplined thing that you know what you're gonna do. You know when you after you hit your coffee and then you hit Shelton, Connecticut around the Route 8 area, that's when you're lighting your cigar and you know you're gonna have enough time for smoke that cigar, and by the time it's almost done, you're almost at work, which probably takes away from the stress a little bit of that drive. Um, in my opinion, right? Or is
Of
that kind of
course, I mean it just time to unwind and just get ready to deal with the craziness.
yeah, yeah. And by craziness, he is a New York City bus driver, so he gets to see all the
Oh
characters.
boy.
All right. Yeah. So I've had other people tell me cars as well, and most the person John Troiano, he's a cigar rep for Forged Cigars. His favorite place to smoke is not because of his commute, but he does commute a lot, right? Because he's a cigar rep. But he would rather smoke in his car than any other place.
Mm.
He actually dislikes smoking outside.
Mm.
He's like, when I smoke outside, I feel like I can't really appreciate or taste everything of the cigar,
I do
which
agree with that.
which makes sense to me, right? Which, you know, you're in it, and when you take a puff and then it's still going up your nasal passages, as opposed to smoking something and the wind's blowing, you're not getting the
Correct.
aroma and the scent of the whole thing, which
Correct.
was really cool. He gave me a story once where he was down in DR and they were doing a cigar tasting and they were doing it blind. And they're like, here, which one's the Dominican, which one's the Cuban, which one's the this? And they're all smoking outside and no one really can tell. He's like, I'll be back. And he runs inside to go puff it, gets the flavors. He comes back outside. This one's this one's that, this one's that. He's like, yeah,
Mm.
how did you get that?
Mm.
He's like, well, out here I couldn't really taste it and
Mm.
appreciate it.
Sure.
Inside, I was able to enjoy more of those aromas, which I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, so
Absolutely.
always pretty cool things. Golf course. One more question.
Just wanted to add something.
Yeah.
One of the other great things about smoking in your car is you can control the climate.
Okay.
So you what I do is I usually have the window open just a little bit. I put the defroster on, hitting the window, and then it's usually about 72, 73 degrees. and then that's when it's cold. And then when it's summertime, you just put it down to like 62, and you just control it so that way
Okay.
it's just constantly comfortable
Sure.
smoking.
So you are in your element, controlled environment to smoke your cigar. Um, Here's a tip I learned if you're smoking in your car. If you crack the front window open, right? Crack the back rear
Mhm.
window because it creates a vortex of smoke in, smoke out, smoke in, smoke out,
Correct.
right? If you just have your front one cracked, too much air pressure in, you might not be getting the exit.
Correct.
All right. So front driver, little cracked,
Yep.
back rear, a little cracked,
Yep.
and you're getting smoke in, smoke out, smoke in, smoke out.
I
Air
pers-
in, yeah, go ahead.
No. Sorry. I personally do something very similar to that. For those who have a sunroof, I just crack it so that the back part lifts up, and then I roll the two back windows down about an inch or so.
Mm-hmm.
And this way, I have a more controlled temperature
Okay.
to his temperature thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I get smoke rearing out of the top, and it's actually bringing the air in through the back, so it's
Mhm.
blowing up and out. But I'm keeping all the airflow up front with me,
Mhm.
because I used to do that. I used to do front left, right rear, and just have that nice little vortex going. And then I ventured off one day and just lifted up the sunroof, and I was like, oh my god, it's better. I
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And here I got one for you. One of my least favorite places to smoke. And this one is a favorite for a lot of people.
Okay,
I dislike smoking on the golf course.
I do too.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll do it.
People love it.
Yeah,
People love it. Some people only smoke on the golf course, and that's
True.
where they smoke. I absolutely dislike it. I feel like I got to manage my cigar too much. Golf is freaking hard enough. Like I don't need to be worrying about,
right,
relighting my stick. Did it go out? Where do I put it? This and that, da da da.
right.
And they sell all sorts of tools. You could clip your cigar
Sure.
here, this, that, da da da.
Sure.
Bigger cigars are probably better. I don't like putting my cigar on the grass. A lot of people do that.
Yep.
Just throw it
Right.
and hit their shot and pick it up. Don't forget why the grass is so green. It's not nature that makes it that green, So you putting that cigar in the grass
Right.
and it's been in your mouth already, so
Yeah.
there's moisture in it. It's touching this highly fertilized and,
Ugh.
and treated grass where it's not my thing,
No.
right? Even in the car, even with the clip, I got a can that you stick the cigar in and it stays vertical. That's also works at ashtray. It's just not my cup of tea.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I noticed that on the golf course, I crack a lot of cigars.
Yeah.
They'll dry out, or it'll just be too much sun or something, and it'll literally just. I can almost say the last 5 times I've played golf and had a cigar, it has cracked.
Well, the last couple times, because it was a cigar event that I was at these golf courses, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, everyone's smoking a cigar too. That lasted maybe like 2 holes because I forgot it at the last hole.
That's another
Like,
thing.
Or I rested it on the cart and
And
then
forgot
I took
about
off
it.
and then that thing went on. I've lost as many cigars on the golf course as golf balls.
Yeah.
Sergio, you got something for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something to smoking outside. Like you mentioned the golf course. I don't play golf, but I go fishing or be at the beach.
Mm.
So
Sure.
it's like with me, I have a category of cigars. So like these are like beach cigars. This would be fishing cigars.
Ah.
Okay.
We don't really bring the good stuff to those environments because
Right.
the wind we eat most of them.
Right.
It might fall.
That is another
So,
factor.
if you're playing golf, then you have to have like these are my golf cigars. These are cigars I don't mind losing or they break or if I leave them behind, it won't bother me as much as far as
Right.
you have like your top tier cigars with you. You're like, damn, I left that Placencia there, that foundation there. So with me, when I'm in those outside environments, I have like a category of my cigars: beach cigars, fishing cigars, golf cigars, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, I like that. I
Me
like
too.
it. Yeah, for sure. There's the typical like you're cutting the grass cigar type
Yep.
thing, your dog walking cigars,
Yep.
and save the premiums for that good environment that where you're gonna get to appreciate it and not worry about anything else. That's pretty awesome. So we're getting into still in the second third, almost in the third. We'll wait a little bit on there
Yeah.
and check in there. We got some news to get to though.
We Ooh.
All right, let's come a little bit of industry news. Few things that we wanted to um, touch on. One that you brought up to me this morning that I
Mhm.
didn't see is Placencia has hired.
A new CEO.
Placencia has hired a new CEO.
Yes. His name is Ed Bello. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Um, I found it very interesting. I saw it earlier this week, and I looked again this morning to see if there's any updates or anything like that. But Ed Bello comes from a vast background.
Yeah, I
Um,
just looked at something really quick that blew my mind. But go ahead.
yeah. I mean, he worked with Procter and Gamble,
Mhm.
a few liquor distributions, things of this nature.
Not just a few liquor distributions.
Mm.
He's a former executive with the liquor giant Diageo.
Yeah,
Who is, they when it comes to liquor,
that's
they're the ones,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it seems like he's got some incredible experience. Doesn't seem like he has cigar experience, right?
And that's what interests me the most because you would think you would bring someone that has somewhat. I mean, he might be an enthusiast. I haven't read that far into him,
Mhm.
but someone mentioned earlier he's a number. He might be just a numbers guy, right? Where you bring in people, you bring in this outlook. Like you'll say our group, right? Each one of us has a different niche or niche that we create or that we're good at when it comes to things. Like particularly like with you with numbers and how things work and doing events and make like okay, this is the number we can do it at this and we can make this. Yeah. He might be a numbers guy, but regardless of any of that, his background is extensive.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like billions and billions and billions of dollars of him being in control of, and has done well. Because they all mentioned he was successful in this, he was successful in that, he was, and so Placencia said, "Look, we got this blending part.
Mhm.
Now it's time to move to the next, portion."
Market it, put it
Yeah.
out there,
And what do you
distribute it.
what do you got, homie? What do you got?
Yeah.
So kudos to him. Congratulations, first of all, because Placencia is a huge name. Shout out Uncle Dave, who had to work today, but that is his favorite cigar, which he mentioned on the podcast.
Yeah. The Placencia Almafuerte
Mhm.
Salomon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it because I do believe that cigars have not fully reached their potential as far as market. It is still growing. We're still in this boom since 2020, year after year, 2021, 22, 23, 24. The industry has grown as far as imported cigars into the country. And I still think that can still be bigger.
Yeah.
And now you have someone that's used to working worldwide, global distribution brands.
Yeah, and markets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's doing your cigars.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what comes of it.
Me too. I'm
Yep.
I'm excited for Placencia. So congratulations to Ed Bello, and whoever's on his right and left side coming in with him. Um, we're excited for you guys and bring back the 149. Please.
Yeah. The cosecha.
Please.
The 149 still exists, no?
You can find them.
Yeah.
They don't. I don't think they're making anymore. I think once they run out of
I
whatever
think
they
they were
got-
all, yeah, because they were all batched.
Yeah.
The numbers were actually the tobacco batches: 146, the 149, the
Right.
151 is
Correct.
specific. So maybe once that's out, it's out. On the not so great news in the cigar industry, New York, New York. What are you doing, New York? What are you doing?
They're trying to figure it out.
You got smoke shops with vapes, and they're selling weed and this and that on
I
every
know.
single corner.
Right.
But you coming after the cigar industry yet again,
Yep.
looking at another tax hike,
Yep.
which is already 75% of the wholesale cost of a cigar. What
Correct.
does that mean? If the wholesale cost of the cigar is $4, you're getting charged $3 in tax. So you're at $7 at your cost already
Mhm.
before you mark it up.
Correct.
This is outrageous. They're looking to move to 95%.
I saw that.
What?
I saw that. Um.
All you're doing is making people buy cigars online and go across borders
Right.
to get them,
Right.
right? Because they're in New England everywhere around there has better tax laws than New York,
That's true.
right? So you're trying to kill the industry within your city, which is New York. It's a prominent city.
Right.
It should be ubiquitous with celebratory cigars and, you know, a giant Super Bowl win. Probably not, but maybe the Yankees will get there.
That was a low blow. that was extreme. Like you get foul points on that one, buddy. You had it 10-9. Now it's 8-9, sir. Listen. Anyway, shout out to New York Giants team.
Yeah.
Anywho, but no, that I don't like the sound of that for many reasons. Because again, we talk about the brick and mortar, which is it's a difficult business. I don't care what you sell, whether it's food, alcohol, tobacco, clothes, whatever. It's a difficult process to have a brick and mortar these days, and to continuously rise or raise the taxes on something that people has been around for a long time and people really enjoy it. It's kind of unfair.
Yeah.
Because you're really smacking the little guy around in comparison.
Well, they're just trying to drive out the industry.
Raise the price on soda.
Yeah. No.
I mean, come on. Right? Let raise the price on soda. Raise the price on.
They got better lobbyists, I guess. Multi-billionaire lobbyists.
I know it's unfortunate, though.
And not to knock on the cigar industry lobbyists, because I think the PCA and the CRA do incredible jobs. Then they've stopped so much of these discriminatory laws against premium cigars. It's phenomenal. But New York, sorry, man, you guys got to do better. And speaking of New York, we mentioned Sergio, the ash hole. Being a New York bus driver, he also has a residence in New York, so you have direct experience with this. Sergio, what's your experience? You buy cigars in New York?
Hell no. You got to be crazy to buy cigars in New York. I mean, they're extremely overpriced.
Right.
It's $10 here. It's probably like $15, $16
Sure.
in New York. I mean, and that's why you see so many hand-rolled locations in New York, because it's easier to just bring tobacco in and just hand-roll it and kind of dodge around certain things that way. But I mean, New York is not a good place for cigars. We also have a place like Indiana that's considering a ban on tobacco.
A complete ban, like a generational ban.
Generational ban,
And
yeah.
Massachusetts as well.
Yep.
You know?
So, it's definitely don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Soda definitely does cause diabetes, and it's a lot more problematic than I would say cigars.
Correct.
The average, they say that they're targeting youth,
Right.
but the average kid is not smoking a cigar.
Right.
I mean, they're vaping, which is
Well,
a whole lot more.
And you
crazy.
can get those everywhere.
Anywhere. Gas station.
You don't
crazy.
know what you're vaping and where the plastic is from and how is
Right.
that compromised. And
Yeah.
just with tobacco, it touches. So these cigars, it touches 300 hands.
Right.
They care about the product. There's an art to it. It's crafty.
Right.
Unfortunately, New York is just not a friendly place, and I'm surprised to see so many cigar lounges still open. Don't know how they're doing it, but it's very expensive to smoke cigars.
Yeah, you could go to a cigar lounge in New York City, and because you're in New York, which you already have the New York overhead, now you have these cigar taxes, and all of a sudden you're paying $35 for a Monte Cristo white label.
Right. Right.
Like something that I could get here at the gas station for $7.
$8.
Yeah, $8.
Early.
And it's 30 over there. It don't taste better at $30.
Right. Well, yeah, no, it definitely doesn't. But I see it too, where if you're going to live that finer lifestyle, you're going to luxury pay for it. And I don't think that's fair. I think we all work for what we've earned, whether you're a millionaire or a thousandaire, right? You get up and you grind it out, and you want to go sit down and enjoy a cigar and a bourbon. You shouldn't have to be ultra taxed on it just because you're enjoying your life. It's a huge slap in the face. Minus 10,000 points to New York for that, like my nephew would say.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you guys, that's wild. And the generational ban, I kind of see that a little more, just a little bit. But again, you don't see 16-year-olds grabbing.
Why do you see the generational ban?
I understand it more.
Why?
I don't see it more. I just understand it a little bit more because I think that younger generations are using it for different purposes than.
Well, so that's not what the generational ban is, though. The generational ban means that, say, they pick a arbitrary year, like you go whatever makes you 18 right now, right?
Okay.
So if you were born 2005,
Right.
making 20, or 2008,
Right.
right? Now, anyone born after 2008 or won't be able to get cigars, right? So it's generationally as people
Ever
get
or
older.
just.
Yes, ever.
Oh, that's.
So it's like phasing it out
Okay.
slowly.
So I understood it a little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw it more like the alcohol type
No,
deal.
not like an age restriction.
Gotcha.
It's 21 to smoke cigars. It's 21 to smoke alcohol. The generational ban is that as you start phasing out
Oh.
who can smoke by the year that they were born. Yeah. That's why I was like, there.
And just
What-
one more thing I say, and everyone listening to the podcast, you got to be insane to even accept this.
Right.
If you're old enough to go to war at 18, if you're old enough to go out and defend this country and deal with a lot of stress that comes with it when war, then you should be given the opportunity to smoke a cigar, and there should be no ban at all.
Yeah,
Correct.
absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that sentiment as well. Yeah. So let's move on from New York because getting me heated here.
A little upset.
Do better. Do better.
Too bad. That's good. Good choice.
Last piece of industry news, and this one's exciting. And I did see this, but you brought it up to me today.
Yes.
Last year, one of the more unique cigars that came out from a brand that doesn't get all the love all the time, Macanudo. You know, Macanudo's considered, some people, you say Macanudo too, they're like, oh, Macanudo's. But they came out with a phenomenal cigar last year, which was the Macanudo Emissary Spain. And when I saw that, I didn't know this was going to be a series, but it was a very aged cigar that had a very unique tobacco grown in Spain. Now, I've talked about this before, like the cigar industry still, not in its infancy, but because it's been around forever, but still has so much room for expansion to be more like regional whiskeys or to be more like regional wines, right? And that's what Macanudo's doing right now. They took a cigar and they grew this tobacco in Spain, aged it really well, and that cigar to me was phenomenal. But it also hit all the notes that I love. So now they're coming out with a new one, and it's the Macanudo Emissary France.
Yeah.
It's like, what? France? I didn't even know France grew tobacco.
I didn't either.
But apparently they do. And guess where they're growing it? They're growing a French leaf tobacco just south of Bordeaux.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know Bordeaux is known for its wine.
Yes.
So we know it's got good soil.
Yes.
For wine, at least.
Yes.
And grapes. How it's going to do with tobacco? Well, we're going to see. Because this is coming out. I'm not sure when it's releasing, actually.
I didn't see a date either. But to your point, to your point of the soils, that's a very rich part of the world. They have been growing grapevines for centuries, and I think this is gonna work. I just actually enjoyed the Spain just a few weeks ago. I actually text Dan. I'm like, where the hell has this been the whole time?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yep.
Beautiful chocolate. I mean, it's like eating fresh bread with the notes that you're getting. I mean, very natural sweetness, lots of baker spice.
Lots of baker's
Oh man, and just like a very distinct like sugar cane type flavor that comes off of this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm excited for it for sure.
All right, let's get into the blend a little bit.
Yeah.
Listen to this. So it's a very uncommon tobacco. cultivated in southwestern France from the River Valley. According to General Cigar, the varietal is based on a hybrid tobacco developed years ago in Paraguay. The fillers are a combination of Dominican Piloto, Brazilian Arapiraca, and Connecticut Broadleaf. Holding it together is a Connecticut Broadleaf binder and an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, both of which have been aged for 10 years.
Wow.
So you're talking a very interesting cigar, medium-bodied in terms of strength, they say. It's coming out in Robusto, Toro, Churchill, and a Perfecto. So boxes 16, just like the Emissary Spain was. Made in Honduras at the Hatsa factory. I'm super interested, especially because the Emissary was so good. If you haven't had the Emissary, I suggest you go get it. It was a phenomenal cigar.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah, man. All right, dude. We're into our last third.
That's it.
That means we're wrapping it up. Oh, and my cigar died out for the first time, but that was my fault.
He gets a red card. He goes past yellow straight to
I'm telling you,
red
I start
card.
talking too much.
That's okay. It was a good topic. Cedar is very, very dominant right now, which I love it. It's so dominant that it's actually coating the mouth, but it has that backyard or that barnyard flavor still very strong and very tasty. It's a little more airy at this point, which I don't mind one bit. I'm gonna take a little.
Yeah, while you're doing that, the things that really have transformed for me, the cedar, where it was like a light cedar, has turned into a stronger woody note to me. The cinnamon is still there. The slight pungent, almost like a, not sour, but kind of right there.
Yep.
Like little taste in there.
Yep. Yeah, when I drink my coffee, I do get more of like a oak backing, but with a cedar front, which is odd. Kind of like you get either one or the other, but it comes in as cedar, but when you're exhaling or retrohaling, it has more of an oak finish.
Yeah.
Which is very distinct and very it's welcoming because you don't get that often. You either get one or the other, like I said, but you don't get them both, which is different to me. AJ, if you're listening, I love you, bro. Like, I don't think I've ever been disappointed with an AJ Fernandez. I'm sure someone in the world has. I'm pretty sure of it, but I know for me in my 17 years of doing this, I have not.
Yeah. Sergio, what do you think?
I just have a question. It's a little
Sure.
off topic. And I ask you guys because I know you guys have been in the business a long time and you all know about cigars, but what can cigar companies do better to market themselves? And I ask that because I see a lot of great graphics on cigar boxes, on cigar wrappers, and I say, damn, there's a niche here that hasn't been touched. What do you feel like they can do to market themselves better?
Okay. So there's a couple things that hinder them, right? They can't do commercials, right? So that kind of sucks. I think the bigger thing these days is social media influencers, getting high profile people smoking your cigars. And, celebrity cigars have always existed, but you're about to see, and it's already starting, a huge influx of that, right? We just saw Conor McGregor is launching his cigar, and you can see he's just putting his name on something because there was actually a commercial there, and they have him cutting and lighting a cigar, and he fucking cuts the finger off that thing and burning up the cigar. It's like, dude, someone should have,
give him a little education,
gave him a little guidance there if this is the thing, because you're trying to appeal to cigar smokers with someone that obviously doesn't really know too much about cigars, just off my peripheral, just seeing.
I think you're spot on. Yeah.
I think cigar education, which is what we're trying to do, needs to be bigger. You need to see these owners and these blenders really taking you through the process and showing you, because the story of anything, when, for instance, uh, bourbon and whiskey right now is having a renaissance, right, since 2020. But what's the biggest thing is smaller, local, um, very like small batch stuff where it's more personal
Intricate, yeah.
to people
Yep.
as opposed to these big brands.
Yep.
Right? Even you can see it even in the labeling. It's a little bit more like old school and just not mason jars, but like that
Yeah.
feel where also, on the side for that, I think cigar, for instance, if you look up a cigar, very rarely will you get the website of the cigar company.
Right.
You're going to get all these websites that sell the cigar
Right.
that have, and you can go through, I've seen cigar pages, not cigar page, but different cigar website pages have different descriptions for the cigar. I've seen them have different components written, wrapper, binder.
Correct.
Actually, that reminds me of a correction from last week, which that happened to me. Talking about our mystery cigar, the Catch 22. I had the blend wrong because I looked at a site that had the wrapper, the binder, and the fillers incorrect. And I had to go back and look at a few other sites to match it up. And then finally go to the Rocky Patel site and get the definite answer. But why isn't the Rocky Patel Catch 22, you type in that, why isn't Rocky Patel's page coming up first?
That's a good question.
And so I believe, the brand doing better at pushing the cigar as far as what happens, what's behind the scenes of it, just showing them, roll that cigar. You need consumers to have a connection to your product, right? You sell with stories. It's very easy to sell a cigar with a story, right? Even if it's the page, like I love the Monte Cristo Espada, which is made by Monte Cristo, where they collaborated with Plasencia, and they used Plasencia's endless library of tobaccos to come up with this. And the story of them going into Plasencia and having the Grupo de Maestros, this very prominent group of cigar blenders, put this cigar together. It's very easy for me to sell that, and that's just a simple story.
Right.
Selling the Foundation Tabernacle number 142, when you're talking Cuban seed, hybrid grown right here in Connecticut, very unique, only place you're going to grow that. That's a cool tidbit to know, a story to know about the cigar to help sell it. Yep. So that's my takes. I could be wrong there. These companies are flourishing.
Sure.
So they are doing things correctly.
Sure.
I think like hindrance of commercials and stuff like that. But dude, get some influencers out there coming to your farm and checking it out and doing something like there. Invite the Blend and Bond podcast to come to your farm and do a video on your cigar.
That's it.
We'll put it out there.
And to answer your question, Serge, I feel like they're dropping the ball when it comes to putting the product in the hands of the people, right? What do I mean by that? Open up a room, invite whoever responds first, come in, leave their data, so on and so forth. Leave that experience. You say the experience of the farm and the role, and which is also very important. But then when you take that, put it into the hands of the people, the consumer, the one who is keeping you afloat, allowing them to experience that with your education, as we spoke about before. I think that's a huge missing portion. Ed Bello, if you're listening, there's so much more that can be done. And also too, with the making sure that every site has the proper information, because if I didn't like Ecuadorian this or that, why would I smoke that cigar if that's not even what's in it?
Yeah. So that actually gives me this. So when when you come out with a cigar, in my opinion, these brands, there should be a package that says, here's everything about this cigar. So if you're carrying my cigar, here is our one sheet about this cigar, the information that you should write. The description should be very similar on every website, right? Reviews are different because that's personal taste of what the reviewer tasted. But you should see the same description of your cigar because you made it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
On every website that sells that cigar, And I don't think that's happening too much because you're just seeing too much different information. And then you also make it easier for the people selling it, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to go and come up with a description for it because I can just take the AJ Fernandez description that's written for me and put that on the site because you know your cigar best, so you should know how to describe it best. Right. That's how it should be portrayed or displayed on my website. Now, here's a company that does all these things that I'm talking about, and they're booming, and they're captivating the younger crowd. They're captivating online communities. They're captivating influencers, and that's Drew Estate. They're putting the cigars in the hands of the consumers.
Yep.
They're doing those freestyle packages where you're getting cigars in there that you don't know what they are, but they're putting it in the hands of people so that they can try it, and then online on a live on YouTube or Facebook or whatever they're doing, they're telling you what that cigar is. Yeah. And the H99 last year turned out to be or a couple years ago turned out to be a incredible cigar that we received these papa fritas size that no one knew what they were, and then they were boom, it's a hybrid Corojo 99 grown in Connecticut. It's a Liga Privada. And it's like, holy cow. So all these people got to taste this and we're like, dude, we got these, first H99s from Drew Estate. So I think they do a great job. They also do the Drew Estate Barn Smoker in Connecticut, in Florida, and then out west Texas, maybe. I don't know where the other one is. This year they're doing 2 dates for Connecticut, which is great because it's sold out
always
within minutes last year. Yeah. And last year there was a lot of gripe because the way that they announced the tickets was on a Freestyle Live. They're like, going on sale at midnight. So if you weren't watching that,
you wouldn't have known.
You missed out. Yep. And so I knew a lot of people that have gone to that Barn Smoker year after year after year, and because they might not be internet savvy or online, and they missed out on those tickets, right? Yep. So this year they announced on their Freestyle Live that on February 14th, they're going to be releasing those tickets and stuff like that. So much, they took the feedback from last year, changed it this year, and moving on. Sergio, one more thing before we get going.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. I wish a lot of these cigar companies will pull out some more clothing merchandise, like patches, where you can take a bunch of patches and put them on a jean jacket, T-shirts, posters.
Sure.
I mean, there's a niche for it. I mean, there's a lot of great artwork, especially from Foundation.
Yeah. Yes, Foundation. You know who's really doing well with that right now? Crowned Heads. Yeah. Crowned Heads is dropping merch, hats, and they're all really cool. Yep. They have one hat that I love. It just says plume in quotations.
Nice.
Plume.
Right, because it's such a debate.
Yeah, it's such a debate. So it's cool. And, they have phenomenal stuff, and John Huber at Crowned Heads is killing it right out of Nashville.
DTT has also stepped up their merch game. They've got the Murdered Out series.
Yes.
Which is dope.
So that's the thing. You're starting to see it, but it's like, man, the blueprint's there. So many companies of other industries already do this. What's taking us so long? Right. Now, maybe it's because this is such a time-honored tradition and culture, and they're trying to stay very traditional. But, it's already hard enough to last 100 years. Well, it's hard enough to last 20 years in the business, 10 years in the business.
Right.
Some of these cigar companies have been around for 100 years, multiple generations.
Sure.
But if you're going to go to 200 years, you got to find different things to do.
You got to revamp.
And right now the time is now because we have the largest group of younger smokers, 21 to 35, 21 to 40, that are really taking on to cigars. Another company that's been doing really well, we've mentioned before, is the Bravada Cigar Club. They found their niche of their own online community and call themselves the disruptor of the industry, which love them or hate them, but they did exactly that, you know. So yeah, a lot of cool things that I think that cigar industry can do, and it's getting there, so, but little by little, you know. So let's see.
Yeah.
That's all I got for today, man.
Yeah,
That
man.
was a lot of fun.
As always, it's
Hmm.
always a pleasure.
Let's close it out, baby.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Shout out to the group we had
Yeah.
here today.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
It means a lot. It means a lot to us. It just goes to show that when you make a step in the right direction, people will follow. Especially those that are sincere about it.
Yeah. It's
No.
been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love doing this in front of a live audience. I
Yep.
can't wait till we actually do the whole thing live and can incorporate our online following with questions and comments and things like that. So we're looking forward to that. But this is only episode 3.
Right.
We're just
getting started.
one step at a time.
Yep.
We're moving forward. And you're listening to the Blend and Bond podcast. As always, you can find us at blendandbond.co on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube. It's blendandbond.company, so the long form of company. Check us out there. Website www.blendandbond.co. Come check that out. We've had some issues. We're working on an AI website, and there's some learning curves there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's going to pay off. And I've looked at every single online retailer there is. And, a lot of these have very old school websites. We're trying to bring a new, fresh approach to an online store.
Yep.
It's taking a little longer than expected, but we'll be ready to rock soon. Thanks again. I'm Dan Mina.
I'm Z.
And you listen to episode 3 of the Blended Bond podcast. Catch you soon.